We need to talk about what is shaping up to be one of the most consequential legal battles involving the Trump family. This involves Melania Trump, and the situation she now finds herself in might be entirely self-inflicted. What started as aggressive legal threats has completely backfired, and the former First Lady may soon face the very questioning under oath that she was desperately trying to avoid. Melania Trump has been quite vocal, quite aggressive, actually, in threatening various members of the media who have dared to suggest or report on any possible associations between her and Jeffrey Epstein. Her position has been clear and uncompromising. According to her legal team, even hinting at connections between Melania and Epstein amounts to defamation, and journalists better watch what they say or face serious legal consequences. She's been sending threatening letters to multiple journalists and reporters, essentially trying to intimidate them into silence. But here's the problem with that strategy. There's documented photographic evidence out there. Pictures exist showing Melania, Donald Trump, Jeffrey. We need to talk about what is shaping up to be one of the most consequential legal battles involving the Trump family. This involves Melania Trump, and the situation she now finds herself in might be entirely self-inflicted. What started as aggressive legal threats has completely backfired, and the former First Lady may soon face the very questioning under oath that she was desperately trying to avoid. Melania Trump has been quite vocal, quite aggressive, actually, in threatening various members of the media who have dared to suggest or report on any possible associations between her and Jeffrey Epstein. Her position has been clear and uncompromising. According to her legal team, even hinting at connections between Melania and Epstein amounts to defamation, and journalists better watch what they say or face serious legal consequences. She's been sending threatening letters to multiple journalists and reporters, essentially trying to intimidate them into silence. But here's the problem with that strategy. There's documented photographic evidence out there. Pictures exist showing Melania, Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, and Ghislaine Maxwell together at various social events. These aren't conspiracy theories or wild allegations. These are photographs that have been published and are part of the public record. So the question becomes, why the aggressive denials and threats when the photographic evidence suggests at minimum some level of social interaction occurred? This is where Melania made what could turn out to be a catastrophic miscalculation. She targeted the wrong person with her legal threats. Enter Michael Wolff, the author and journalist who previously wrote extensively about the Trump administration. Wolff is someone who has known both Donald and Melania Trump personally. He's interviewed them, observed them, and written biographical material about the former president. And critically, Michael Wolff is not someone who backs down easily when threatened. When Wolff published articles discussing Melania's reported connections to Epstein, connections which she categorically denies, her legal team sent him a threatening cease and desist letter. They gave him a deadline to issue an apology and retract his reporting. They threatened him with a lawsuit seeking $1 billion in damages if he didn't comply. This is a common intimidation tactic. Send an outrageous demand, attach an astronomical dollar figure, hope the target gets scared and backs down. Michael Wolff did not back down. Instead, he did something brilliant and unexpected. Rather than wait to be sued and have to defend himself, he went on offense. Wolff filed a lawsuit against Melania Trump in New York State Court using New York's anti-SLAPP statutes. SLAPP stands for Strategic Lawsuit Against Public Participation. These are lawsuits not because someone actually has a legitimate legal claim, but specifically to silence critics through the burden and expense of legal defense. Many states, including New York, have enacted anti-SLAPP laws to protect journalists, critics, and ordinary citizens from being bullied into silence by wealthy or powerful individuals who use the threat of litigation as a weapon.
Wolff's argument is straightforward and powerful. He says he's a journalist exercising his First Amendment rights to report on matters of public interest involving a public figure. By threatening to sue him for $1 billion simply for doing his job, Melania Trump is attempting to chill his speech and prevent him from engaging in legitimate journalism. Under New York law, that gives him a cause of action. He can sue her for trying to silence him through legal intimidation. But Wolff isn't just seeking a court order telling Melania to stop threatening him. He wants something far more valuable and far more dangerous to her. He wants discovery. In legal terms, discovery is the process where each side gets to demand documents, ask written questions, and most importantly, take depositions where witnesses must answer questions under oath. If this lawsuit proceeds, Wolff's attorneys will have the legal right to subpoena documents from Melania Trump to ask her detailed written questions that she must answer under penalty of perjury and to sit her down for a deposition where she has to answer questions under oath. They will ask about her connections to Jeffrey Epstein, her background, how she came to the United States, and the circumstances of how she met Donald Trump. This is exactly what Melania was trying to avoid when she started threatening journalists in the first place. Notice what is happening here. Melania still has not sued Michael Wolff for defamation. Think about that. She threatened to sue him, gave him a deadline, said she would seek $1 billion in damages, but she hasn't actually filed that lawsuit. If she genuinely believes he defamed her, if she truly believes his reporting was false and damaged her reputation, why wouldn't she sue him? She certainly has the resources. She's now represented by DLA Piper, one of the most prestigious and expensive law firms in the world, with attorneys who charge $2,000 to $3,000 per hour. If she wanted to sue Michael Wolff, they could have a defamation complaint drafted and filed within days. But she hasn't done that. Instead, her strategy is purely defensive and procedural. She's not attacking his claims. She's trying to move the case around, delay it, transfer it, do anything except actually engage with the substance of what he's alleging. Her lawyers filed a removal notice arguing the case should be in federal court, not New York State court, claiming she is a resident of Florida and not New York. And once in federal court, they wanted transferred to the Southern District of Florida, specifically to get the case before Judge Aileen, the judge who has been extraordinarily favorable to Donald Trump in his classified documents case. Wolff's attorneys are fighting back hard. They don't believe Melania actually lives in Florida. They think she's misrepresenting her residency. They have filed a motion for jurisdictional discovery, asking to put Melania under oath to answer detailed questions about where she actually spends her time, where she receives her mail, and where her primary residence truly is. They want to see travel records, flight manifests, utility bills, tax filings, and credit card records, all documented evidence showing where someone actually lives. If the evidence shows she spent 200 days in New York and only 90 days in Florida, that is going to be a serious problem for her legal argument. Wolff's attorneys are also arguing that if Melania refuses to participate in this jurisdictional discovery, the court should draw an adverse inference against her, meaning the judge should assume that the evidence she is hiding would be unfavorable to her position. Every procedural motion Melania files, every delay tactic, every attempt to avoid his process servers, it all looks like someone who has something to hide. It reinforces the narrative that her legal threats were never about protecting her reputation, but about silencing inconvenient questions. She threatened to sue, hoping he would back down. He didn't, and now she is stuck dealing with the consequences of her own threats.